My name is Janani Eastwarren, and I'm a statewide board member of the League of Women Voters of Indiana. What we're focused on is empowering voters, giving them the education that they need to really unleash their power. And we also focus on advocacy efforts that make our democracy and our country just a more equitable place. And so we're nonpartisan, and we really want to involve people from all political affiliations and just becoming more engaged. To vote in Indiana, you need to bring an ID that fulfills 4 requirements. So 1, there needs to be a photo of you on the ID. The ID also has to include your name, and that name must conform with the name that you had on your voter registration. Third requirement is that there's an expiration date on the ID. Requirement is that the ID must be issued by the state government or the US government. And so for this 4th requirement, an ID that's issued by a public school does count. So a Crimson Card should fulfill this 4th requirement. First-time voter, you might be asked to provide proof of residency, having a paper or online copy, license, state ID or US passport, a current utility bill, a bank statement, or a government check, other government document, or a paycheck. So you're actually not allowed to display any political affiliation / slogan. The Election Protection Hotline is a nonpartisan resource. So the number is 866-OUR-VOTE. So that's 866-867-8633. And so this is the English hotline, but it's actually also available in other languages. Call this hotline, like if you're having any sort of issues navigating voting at the polls, or if you feel unsafe at the polls for any reason. Voting site, poll workers are also a great resource if you feel comfortable interacting with them. So if you're told that if you don't have the requirements on you to be able to vote, what you can do is you can request a provisional ballot with the county election office regarding the issue. So this follow-up must happen within 10 days of the election. Local and state races really do affect so much. For example, school board races, the community directly benefits from better schools because that attracts more skilled workers and businesses, and that also makes your community safer and less prone to crime. So it's really good in the long run to have qualified folks who are in those positions. Why does my individual vote matter? So I think, first of all, the more you think local, the more you realize how much leverage your vote truly has. According to American Progress, the voter turnout for local school board elections, for example, is literally 5 to 10%. It's good to make your voice heard, and I think it comes down to demographics too, right? Like young people, they generally have lower turnout rates than older individuals, and that allows politicians to make decisions considering us less because we're not holding them accountable in that direct way. Indiana does have quite low voter turnout rates compared to the rest of the nation, so I really think it would be good for us to just flip that narrative. So if the polls close at 6 p.m. and you're in line at 6 p.m., you have a legal right to vote. And if you want to find your polling place, you can find it at your voter portal at indianavoters.in.gov. The other thing that I did want to mention is that on this year's ballot, we have a state constitutional amendment, and we also have judges for the Indiana courts that are up for retention. And so if you want to find information about the constitutional amendment, the IDS actually did a great piece on that earlier. And if you want to find information about the judicial retention, what I suggest doing is go to in.gov/courts. You'll be able to find information. I suggest just keeping that in mind.